Hello, my friends. I am Fiona Sitkin. Welcome to the Bridge for Women Worldwide. Today, we'll talk about Uncle Michael's cabin and a strange cousin's love. Okay, born and raised in Ukraine, I remember plenty of stories that may sound strange today. Let me share a story about my first cousin Simon being supposedly in love with me when we were teenagers. We met in summer at our grandma's house in Dnipropetrovsk, Ukraine, now called Dnipro. I used to visit my granny Sonia on a regular basis, coming from Uzhgorod, Transcarpathian Ukraine, while Simon and his twin sister Lucia would come from Kherson in southern Ukraine. Their father, my uncle Michael, was serving as a colonel and the head doctor of a military hospital. Importantly, he was a hero of World War II, heading his hospital's escape from the fascist army and the infamous General Vlasov's army, who became the traitors and sided with the enemy against their own folk. My uncle led the people to find their way through thick forests under heavy bombing, with their former comrades firing at their backs. Tough time, to say the least. It took bravery, courage, and real patriotism to do it, and he did it. And then his hospital unit rejoined the Soviet army. Uncle Michael had been awarded many orders and medals since then, but he remained a modest person his entire life, despite his inner heroism. He loved me dearly as a daughter of his younger sister, Raisa. We knew him for his kindness and for his super summer cabin or dacha in the suburbs of Kherson. I've been the same age as my twin cousins, the post-war generation of baby boomers. We were doing well together, sharing love for music, books, and movies. I remember I loved to dance to the recorded Bésame, Bésame Mucho song performed by Consuelo Velasquez in Spanish. My cousins usually watched me dance while sitting on the sofa. Simon would smile and clap and encourage me to dance to this tune again and again, while Lucia maintained a neutral look. She wasn't talkative at all. Was she jealous of Simon's attention? I couldn't read her face, and I never cared to. Typical teenagers, we were mostly interested in our own emotions. But Cousin Simon's attention was surely flattering, and it came from a boy, even though he was a relative. A notable event at the time was taking a tram ride to the center of Dnipropetrovsk, to the huge Shevchenko Park on the banks of the river Dnieper. It was gorgeous in bloom. Cousin Simon would make humorous comments about everything and everybody, and we would laugh obligingly. Good times. There was lots of mutual understanding and the feelings that we were true soulmates. Went back home from the summer vacation. We stayed in touch and exchanged some letters, simple and matter of fact. And you could count on Cousin Simon cracking funny jokes. I appreciated the fun and his attention. Our letter exchange stopped after we graduated from the high school and started the university. With a different stage in our lives, different interests and new friends, that was normal. At some point later, a rumor or gossip came to my attention about Cousin Simon dropping the word he would marry me, if only we were not first cousins. He never shared the thought to me, and all I knew was that the word spread like wildfire. Many years later, even my second niece Bella remarked that Cousin Simon never married only because of his love to me. Nonsense, I said, nonsense. But my mind went back to those old days, and I tried to connect the dots. I remember that cousin Simon dropped out of college and moved to Moscow, trying to get admitted to Moscow State University, the prestigious school of mathematics. That attempt failed. However, he stayed in Moscow and kept staying there for many years. Nobody knew what exactly he did. Maybe he worked as a superintendent somewhere to get the legal right to live in Moscow. Who knows? Bravado, posing, humor, persistence, that was so like Simon. What did he try to prove? God only knows. Well, years later, I graduated from the university, married, and gave birth to daughter Helen. My mother suggested that I take Helen to visit my Uncle Michael, her retired brother, in Kherson on our way to the Odessa resort. Okay, we went by train, crossing Ukraine from the very west to the southeast. Overall, it was a nice visit when we took advantage of the white sandy beaches of the river Dnieper, of South Ukrainian cuisine and juicy apricots, my favorites. Uncle Michael took us in his paddle boat from the city to his cabin with hardly 2 to 3 people for sleepovers. But their garden was fantastic, vast and overgrowing. A famously rich Ukrainian soil made everything grow like crazy. A dinner under the old cherry tree was a meal to remember too. The nearby cabins and gardens also looked like paradise on earth. It pains me to think that this all has been ruined by the aggressors of the Putin's army. Thousands of cabins around Kherson, as well as the very city of Kherson. The Russians got it and they ruined it all. Anyway, we had a good time at Uncle Michael's cabin. But how about my twin cousins, who both lived in the city at the time? It's complicated. Meeting with them was at the back of my mind, not clearly spelled out, even for myself. Still, I expected something. My cousin Lucia showed up but once, briefly. She was not a warm and welcoming person per se. I was told that cousin Simon lived with his girlfriend, and he indeed came to see us twice during that week. First, on a visit to his father's apartment, he gave a humorous overview of his prior life, mentioning that even his own mother didn't recognize him when he returned from Russia as a prodigal son. She took him for a stranger, following her for sexual purposes, and threatened to call the militia. What's funny here? The second time I saw him was on the morning of our departure. He came to say goodbye, kissed Helen on the cheek. Bye bye, niece, be good, he said, and paid for a taxi man to take us to the harbor. We were leaving to Odessa by a charter boat. I never saw him again, ever, ever, except on a photograph where he looked very handsome and manly. Whatever. Why, you may wonder, didn't we renew the old friendship there and then? Frankly, as a girl of my generation, and we are very, very old-fashioned, I was not trained to inspire and initiate any personal relationship. The initiative should come from a boy, a man. So I never dared to cross the line allowed by our cultural laws. In general, I never dared to cross many lines in my lifetime until later in life. I am a bolder person nowadays. However, with cousin Simon, I instinctively expected more interaction because of his supposed useful infatuation with me, because of our correspondence, because of my soulmate feeling. Obviously, I misread many things. How foolish of me, right? Come think of it, it's very strange that two reasonably intelligent people, and maybe even soulmates, stayed estranged and disconnected all their lives. In the 20th and 21st centuries, it's unbelievable. After immigrating in America, I read several of Cousin Simon's letters addressed to my own brother Simon. The letters were humorous in tone, opinionated, describing his everyday life, his worldview, and striving to look different. He is different, with a unique personality, in fact. And once I remember there was a New Year note addressed to me, wishing me, quote, to further excel in journalistic career, end of quote. It must have referred to my blogs on the Huffington Post. I did not respond. Another foolish move on my part? I should have been wiser. Anyhow, today, Cousin Simon lives in Israel together with his twin sister, Lucia. They emigrated together, just the two of them, before the war in Ukraine started. The knowledge about them is minimal, though. Out of curiosity, I found Cousin Simon's Facebook page where he posted his pro-Russian and anti-Ukrainian views, a clear result of Moscow brainwashing from many years of living there. Disgusting. To my mind, supporting Russian aggression is disgusting. My broad-mindedness has limits, you know. Unfortunately, it's a point of no return, the end of a story. End of Uncle Michael's cabin in Kherson, end of beautiful memories of useful infatuation, and end of hopes of mutual understanding. Sad, right? Do you think I should have acted differently? If yes, please tell me how. Write to me. Thank you so much. Please subscribe to our channel. Thank you for listening, my friends. I salute you and I wish you all the best. Bye bye for now. Stay well.